Hello everyone and welcome back to our new SwiftUI animation tutorial. Today we are going to look how we can create this clock animation using SwiftUI shapes and lines plus timer. So we are going to explore how we can use timer and shapes in order to achieve this. Let's see what are the requirements that we need to meet in order to develop this. We have a black background, we have one shape circle with some border and width with it, and within this circle we have three hands. One is second hand, another is minute and hour. So second hand is and minute and hour hand, all hands are being rotated at 360 with different speeds. Second hand is being rotated after every 1 second. Minute hand is moved after every 60 seconds. So here we are with the new Xcode project. We can see that on the left hand side we have code and the right hand side we have canvas to present this. So let's see if our canvas is working by changing a content of text. I replaced hello world to hello Abdul and it is being replaced here. Okay, so first of all, as per our requirement, we need to create a black background, and in order to create a black background, let's create a Z stack and add black background to it. Here we can see we have a black background, but again, the safe areas are not being ignored. So in order to ignore the safe areas, we need to add edge ignoring safe area function with all the edges. And now we can see that edges are being ignored and we have achieved full black background. So the next thing is we need to draw a circle at the center of our screen. So let's create a circle. Circle is in our screen, but we can't see that because it might be in a black color. So let's give it a foreground color of white. Here we have a circle. Now for the circle, we don't need circle to be filled. We need a stroke. So let's add a stroke function to it with a style of stroke style. Line width, we can give a line width of 1. Let's see, okay, it's a bit small, so let's give it 10. Here we have achieved our circle, but we can see that it is being cropped at the borders. So let's give it a padding. Okay, so we have finally achieved a border for our clock animation. Alright, so next we have to add up hands, either hour, second or minute, and for that we need to draw a path. We need to specify starting and ending point for a path. For example, in our case it would be from mid to we will extend it to y-axis. So let's give it a path. So we are going to create a new struct. We can name it seconds hand. We will add a shapes protocol to it, and inside this shape we have a function named path which will confirm this protocol, and this function needs path as its return value. So we are going to create a new path. And we are going to return a path for now. Now we need to add a path which will start from center and which will move towards its y-axis. So let's add a path. So to draw a path, we need path.move function, and in that move we need to add CG point. CG points are used to give x and y axis. So let's give it mid x and mid y. Next we have specified right now the starting point for this path, and now we need to give its ending point or the destination. So to add the last ending point, we need to give a part.addLine function, and again we will add CG point to it, in which we will specify X and Y axis. And we can give this around 250. Right, so we are done with our second hands, but it is not being visible here. That is because we haven't added we haven't added this struct in our parent view. So let's add this struct in our parent view. Right, so we are done with it. We have added our second hand in our parent view, but we haven't specified a few properties for the second hand, which are the color and its width. So let's give it width and color. So we can give a stroke style, and in that function we can specify the style with a line width of 10. Let's see how it's going to look like. Okay, so it might again not be visible because we haven't specified the color yet. So let's give it a white color and see if it's visible. Alright, so we have one hand here. We can name it second, minute, or hour. Similarly, we are going to make the same hands with the different sizes, with the different heights, and we can change the height by using different y-axis. So let's create the same struct for minute and hours, and we can change its name to minutes and third one to hour. Now we have three hands, seconds, minute, and hours. We can now give it as per its different sizes, like seconds hand is extended and is the longest one, whereas minute hand is shorter than seconds hand, so we can give it 240, and hours hand is quite smaller than seconds and minutes hand, so we can give this to 300. So let's see how it's going to look like if I add hours hand instead of seconds hand. So we can see that the size has been reduced. Right, so let's now try to rotate this, and in order to rotate this, we need to add a rotation effect to it. And rotation effect function asks for angle as an argument. To add an angle in an argument, we need to specify some degree. So for example, if I give this 30 degree, so it is going to move toward 30 degree to the clockwise. Similarly, let's try adding different hands. Like if I'm going to add seconds hand to it, and if I'm going to specify its degree to -90, it will go anti-clockwise to -90 degree. So we can see that we have drawn seconds and hours hand. Now we need to update its rotation effect. These rotation effect can be updated using the state property wrapper. So let's first add rotation effect to just one hand. So we will introduce a state property wrapper, and we can name it to angle rotation. So the rotation angle for seconds, we can specify initial to 0, and let's just give it degrees to here. Okay, so we have added angle rotation to this rotation effect. Well, let's see what it's saying. It is expecting us to pass a double value, so we are going to cast it to our double. Right, so we have specified the initial value for angle rotation. Now we need to update the value. So to update the value, we know that second hand we can rotate second hands after every 1 second. So we are going to specify the time seconds is equals to 1.0, and we can introduce on a pair, we can introduce a function where we can update this angle rotation effect. So let's add a timer, where we can schedule a timer with a time interval of seconds that we specified above, which is 1 second. And we can remove this invocation for now because there is no need to add this, and we are going to add repeat.true. In this function we can further add timer. Let me run this. We can add timer, and in timer in we can specify, we can increase angle rotation by 1. So here now we are done with our rotation effect. Let's see what this is saying now. Okay, so it's saying, right, so we have used time interval, whereas it is with time interval. So the argument was incorrect, so let's update this argument and let's see what's going to happen next. We can see it has start moving. So this is how we have added a seconds hand, and we have added the timer to it to increase the angle rotation by 1. After adding angle rotation, the state property wrapper updates it, and it updates the R view by the rotation effect of 1 degree. So we can see that it's moving. Now if I want to move this a bit faster, I can make it 0.1. So the speed of the seconds, and it will update after every 0.1 second. So let's see how it's going to look like. So here we are. You can see that it's moving just like our stopwatches. So alright, so we are going to use the same strategy for our minute and hours hand. So let's add the same property wrappers and functions for our minute and hours hand. We are going to use the same criteria for minute and hours. Let's call it hours hand first, and let's call this minutes hands. Now we know that we can specify initial value for hours and minutes hand that could be a very different. We don't need to start the seconds, minute and hour from the same position. So let's add minutes initial angle rotation to 40, and we can specify angle rotation hour to -50. Right, so let's add these angle minute rotation minutes and angle rotation hours, and let's see what's going to happen. We are going to witness that the hours hand, minutes hand and seconds hands are being displayed differently. So we can see that hours hand, minute and second hands have initial value of different angles with 40, -50 and 0. Now in order to rotate, or in order to animate these minute and hours hand, we are again add the timer to it, but it would be with a different time interval. For seconds we have 1 second, but for minutes we will add 60 seconds, because 1 minute is equals to 60 seconds, whereas hour will be equal to 360 seconds. So let's add these timer schedule with time interval. If it's for minutes, we are going to add minutes to it, like this is going to update after every 60 seconds. So we are also going to update the rotation effect that we have initialized, and similarly we are going to do the same with hour, and we are going to update the angle rotation hour by 1. Now we can see that we have the initial value declared along with the time intervals. These are the time intervals which tells our hours and minutes and then second hands to update its value after x seconds. For seconds we have 1, for minutes we have 60 seconds, for hour we have 360 seconds. So now we have achieved our clock animation. Thank you so much for listening and viewing. Hope you have learned path and timer, and how we can animate using the combination of path and timer, and we have successfully achieved a time clock animation. So let me know the feedback, what you have learned and what you need to learn.